There's a psychotherapist and priest called Von Kamm, and he says, we all have a choice in life. We can either have a fundamental yes to reality, where we take life on its terms, or a fundamental no, where we try to control life and get it to be what we need it to be. We don't get to choose the terms of life. We don't get to choose the rules of the game of this world that we've been thrown into. We can either try to fight the world that we've been given, or we can learn to participate in it. We're all going to die. That's just the facts. But the longer we reject and ignore and push away our death, the longer we are fighting against reality in an unending battle. When we can't accept our own death, we can't accept our limitations. When we can't accept our limitations, we can't accept other people's limitations. And so relationships, work, meaning it's all quite miserable. Our lives are very limited because we're thrown into this fact, this existence. But they're also limited in the forward direction, because the decision to do anything at all automatically means sacrificing an infinite number of potential alternative paths. And here he talks about the word decide on page 60. To decide means to cut off, as in to cut off a limb, to prune a tree, to prune the branches. To decide means to let go of this option and embrace this. And to do that means saying no. We've lost the power of no. And I really believe this, that at least for me right now, the next 10 years of my life are going to be really the setup to the next 40. And the most important thing I can learn to do is say no. Any finite life, even the best one you could possibly imagine, is therefore a matter of ceaselessly waving goodbye to possibilities. The question about our limitedness is really, are we willing to confront it or not? And it says on page 60, we must live out our lives to whatever extent we can in clear-eyed acknowledgement of our limitations, in the undiluted mode of existence that Heidegger calls being towards death, aware that this is it, that life is not a dress rehearsal, that every choice is a myriad sacrifice, that time is always already running out. Indeed, that it might run out today or tomorrow or next month. Now, this seems morbid, this fact that we're going to die. But what seems much more morbid is to ignore this fact and then to get to the very end and realize that we hadn't actually at all lived according to what was important. We often live in avoidance and denial. These are the options that we get. Fight against our limitations and be miserable, or embrace what we are fully. And embracing, here's the thing, embracing what we are fully means being limited. Limited is not a bad word. It's a boundary of experience and existence. We are boundary beings. We are time. We are temporal. We can't escape that. There's a limited amount of times we will see those that we love. But when we live in relationship, that in that being towards death, everything actually takes on vitality and meaning. And so the grief and the ability to grieve our own death, think about the fact that one day we are going to be in a casket. One day we are going to become the earth. One day we will become the flowers that sprout up from where we were buried. When we live in relationship and an understanding of that, then all of a sudden our lives, our moments, they're actually packed with meaning. It's not that confronting our death brings anxiety. It's that not confronting our death brings anxiety. And you're so habituated to not confronting your death that you become anxious when you think about it. But facing it is the only thing that will give your life meaning. Because we are limited. We are time-bound. And in a world of infinite potential, none of your decisions would mean anything at all. And so in this way, our limitedness is the grief of mortals, but the exhilaration of the gods. The Greek gods, they could do anything. And so it didn't matter what they did. They envied mortals whose choice mattered, who fell in love with this person, who chose to live this life. We are inundated by opportunity and potential. And so we are losing touch with what it means to be right here, right now. He talks about people who live in this way. They're living in denial of the fact that their time is limited. So when it comes to deciding how to use any given portion of that time, nothing can genuinely be at stake. It's by consciously confronting the certainty of death and what follows, that the certainty of death, that we finally become truly present. It pitches us into a more authentic mode of being. And I really like that idea of sober joy. That in living in relationship to my death and my limitations, I'm not naive, but I don't have to lose joy either. The life of the mundane, of nothing mattering, that comes from not acknowledging our death. But if we can learn now to die well, if we can prepare to die well, we will live well. And if we don't prepare for our death, we will live poorly.